January is often the quietest month for music, although that's simply not the case here. As you can see, Cryptopsy closing out their headline set, a sold out headline set here in Manchester on a Thursday night. The Canadian death metal band were celebrating 30 years of Non So Vile, one of their seminal albums and one of the key albums in the whole death metal genre. Though they wouldn't be alone on this night, as they brought three bands who represent the future of the death metal genre. In support, they had Corpse Pile, Inferi, and 200 Stab Wounds. First up was Corpse Pile, and although they were the smallest band on the lineup, they definitely were not here to make up the numbers. It was actually quite surprising how popular they were, how many people knew their music, and how packed out the place was, even before they played the first note. And it's even more surprising considering this was their first time in Europe, and based off this, it definitely will not be their last. Next up, it was Inferi, and they had more of a melodic death metal style, more technical metal style, and it was something different to the lineup. It brought something different. Although I felt like Inferi struggled a little bit for the first song or two. The sound was geared more towards, Cryptopsy, more towards Corpse Pile, those bands who have, a lot more low end and more bass heavy. And I think some of those melodic elements of Inferi struggled to cut through the mix. Although on the third, fourth song, it definitely got better, and I don't think the people in the crowd really cared about the mix. They were just happy to throw themselves around like rag dolls. And we saw, one crowd surfer, then another, then another, then another, and then eventually the band's vocalist got in on the action and decided to jump the barrier. Now, the last time 200 Stab Wounds played Manchester was Damnation 2024, as they absolutely packed out the second stage. Before the gig and during the gig, I saw so much of their merch, so many of their t-shirts, and to me it felt like they were the biggest draw of the night. And it's no wonder they've done something absolutely incredible. They brought that old school brutal death metal style, but they've added this hardcore edge that some people just find absolutely insatiable, and it's just the best of both worlds, really. Two very aggressive styles, and somehow they've married them up perfectly, and something that resonates with the young people and something that the older people can appreciate. And again, the crowd surf still came, the circle pit was absolutely savage. And again, I've said it once tonight, but if this is the future of death metal, the genre is in very good hands. Finally, it was Cryptopsy, the headline act, and they got us all in the mood for a sing-along as they played For Whom the Bell Tolls by Metallica over the PA. Although this is brutal death metal, it's anything but sing-along, it's not aesthetic, it doesn't pretend to be, it's just so savage, and within a few seconds the circle pit erupted, and yeah. Now, some people did complain about the mix, but I thought it was absolutely fine, as I was pretty much at the front for pretty much the entire set. Yeah, it sounded fine. It captured that aggression so well and that primitive edge. And although it was non so vile in full, they still slipped in a few songs here and there, some songs from the newest album. And yeah, it was a bit confusing at first. I did wonder if they actually were going to play non so vile in full, but they did, kind of. Yeah, it just feels great to say that I've finally seen one of the biggest bands in the death metal genre, one of those seminal acts. I've had multiple chances, but I guess I had to take it tonight, on this night. And yeah, they were amazing. and yeah, it was absolute carnage. It's made me appreciate the death metal genre so much now. It's been quite an interesting journey over the last 7, 8 months or so. It wasn't really my thing, but I've seen Cryptopsy now. I've seen the future of death metal, and yeah, it's really exciting. Thanks again to Tapestry Promotions for bringing such an amazing night, and for the bands for selling out this show in Manchester on a cold Thursday night in January.